Oh no. Oh. It happened. I thought I had one more day. We got our first frost. And it has seemed to touch the ground. I thought I had one more day, so I didn't go out and pick all my unripe fruit. Like my tomatoes. This calls for coffee. I need to get coffee. Alright, got my coffee. Got a couple harvest baskets. We were not supposed to get a frost today. Our frost wasn't supposed to come until tomorrow. We had a nice little cushion here, so I didn't harvest anything in the garden. So let's see what's salvageable. Do a after frost garden harvest. See if anything survived. And the thing last night, I was thinking, maybe I should cover a few things in my garden. Maybe over the next few days, the frost won't be strong enough to really do any damage if I keep everything protected a little bit. Maybe we can get through it, and I can get some of these tomatoes and peppers and whatnot going a little bit longer. But surprise! We're supposed to get frost today. Oh, woof. It definitely made it to the ground. Alright, I got some work to do. Oh, look at how beautiful she would have been. Maybe the frost didn't do too much damage. I can still get some of these to counter ripen. I don't really see any blushing though. Brandywine tomatoes. Ooh. Lovely. Oh, these tomatoes are cold. But they're not solid, so I don't think they froze. So many green tomatoes. Fried green tomatoes, anyone? Looks like that's where we're going with these. Ooh, these ones are firm. Well, that's it for the Brandywine tomatoes. I don't know how many of those are actually going to counter ripen, but we'll give it a shot. I need some coffee. It's had chilly out here, actually. My hands are a little bit frozen, but there's still so much left to go through. Part of me wants to wait until it's warmer out. The other part of me says, I'm not that patient, and I want to know how bad the damage is. Maybe I'll have to harvest potatoes this weekend, too. Alright, let's keep going. Oh, this poor thing. Ugh. Little German tomato. Oh, this one took a hard hit. So many tiny ones. This one was just starting to get going. Oh, it's a floppy plant. Oh, it's a cold plant. My hands hurt. Wait, this might be black from Tula. There's 2 tomatoes in this pile, and they've just kind of grown together, so I couldn't tell you which one is which. These are definitely black from Tula back here. Oh, that sun's coming out though. That sun feels nice. It's kind of hard to find green tomatoes on a dying floppy plant that is also still green. Had so much potential too. I mean, the carrots are unfazed. They're frost tolerant. Tomatoes, not so much. And then this, I know, is black from Tula. I might have to switch out my harvest baskets. It's a lot of tomatoes. Okay, here's what we're gonna do, because I need this bowl for the smaller peppers. Just gonna drop all those in there. Wow. Beautiful and sad. Kind of signifies the close to garden season, or summer garden season. Fall garden's still going, but I mean, anyone who says they don't mind when the summer garden is over and that the fall garden is just as good, they're grinning through the tears. Yeah. We all love the fall garden, the winter garden, but nothing like a good, ripe, fresh tomato, fresh peppers, or really anything that grows in the garden that winter garden just can't quite compete with. Whew. Oh, my hands are freezing, so I gotta keep going. But getting a little sentimental over here. This volunteer never really did produce anything. It has a few clusters on it, which I guess I can take in. I mean, what's the worst that can happen? They don't ripen, right? But couldn't tell you what variety this is since it was a volunteer and never got to the point where it had ripe fruit on it. I think it was a champagne bubbles. That's the only cherry tomato I had this year that really produced enough to have seeds spread around. Yeah, this one, it's definitely frost damaged, but it doesn't look as bad. Maybe it was a little bit protected. But we have hard freezes coming, so it won't be protected forever. Okay, I'm gonna need some snips for this one. Oh yeah, that's toast. Cajo watermelon. Well, the fruit seems to be okay. Got a little one over here, which I doubt will be ripe. You know what? This part of the plant still seems okay, so I'm gonna leave this little one on there. I mean, it's not gonna be ripe anyway, so no point in harvesting it if it might have a chance to ripen up just a little bit. Excuse me, plants. Oh gosh. Guys, can you consolidate to one side here? There we go. Potatoes don't actually feel too bad. They might survive another frost. I think they were a little bit protected here, tucked in the corner, surrounded by giant pepper plants and tomato plants that took the brunt of it. But let's get to these Pekinho peppers. I did pick a lot of these the other day, give to my mother-in-law on Thanksgiving. Honestly, the plant doesn't feel that bad. It's definitely got some frost damage, but I'm only going to harvest the ones that are really close to ripe and leave the rest on here. Just see how the plant fares throughout the day. The tops are definitely damaged. You can tell that the fruit at the top got damaged, but the ones at the bottom look healthy. So I'm going to let this sit and just pick the ones pretty much ripe. And these feel okay. They don't feel soft. This was loaded the other day, but my family came over for Thanksgiving. I sent my mother-in-law off with a nice little goodie basket of peppers and other garden things. I will pretty much strip this plant clean of anything that was ripe. So I think that's about it for the bikino peppers. I actually might cover this tonight if it looks okay after it warms up and some of it's undamaged, because there's a lot of unripe fruit on this, and I would love for just a little bit more of it to ripen up before the frost takes it out completely. And if it's sheltered in this corner, it might just. It's a wonderful thing about microclimates. Microclimates are so interesting. So you can actually have the same plant scattered through multiple areas on your property and have a hard freeze come or a damaging storm and have ones in one area completely taken out and other areas unscathed. Just a little bit of protection from the wind, or to have something taller than it take the brunt of the damage, it will actually protect the other plant. Like this whole fence wall is star jasmine. You can see this side looks a little bit thin compared to that side, which is really thick. And these are fairly young plants. These are 2-ish years old. And the first year I got them, we had a horrible, horrible freeze, an ice storm that is completely unusual for this area. Our ground froze solid. I live in South Carolina, zone 8B. Our ground doesn't freeze. It was about 17 degrees Fahrenheit. That's below freezing, so I'd have to look it up. Below 0 Celsius. And these are not okay in that kind of temperature. Half of them got zapped. I actually lost a couple plants, and the other ones took heavy damage, and I had to prune them way back. But the other half perfect, unscathed, no damage whatsoever. And they're planted along the same fence. The only difference, this half was the undamaged half. And this is part of my house. It was sheltered from my house. And right at that line where my house ended, look at how perfect that is. It's so much thinner over here. Just being in between my house and the fence was just enough to create a little bit of a microclimate to keep this stuff, which would have definitely been destroyed if out in the open in 17-degree weather for a week, completely safe. And this stuff, which had a little bit less protection, it took some damage. Now it's been a year and a half since that happened, so they've recovered, and I filled in little gaps and stuff, so it looks a lot better now. But you should have seen it when it first happened. That had no plants on that fence, had no plants on it in that section. But that's how microclimates work. Just a little bit of protection in the right way, from the wind coming from the right angle, or something a little taller than it that will kind of get the frost to go to it instead of the plant, can really make a huge difference. So I have plants all around my yard that technically aren't really made for my zone. They are more tropical than where I live, but I was strategic in where I planted them and put them close to the house, so they'd get some ambient temperature from the house, the radiate temperature coming off of the house, and some protection from the elements, and they've come back every year. So there might be a few things in this garden that microclimate saved. And if that's the case, I will probably cover those tonight with some frost fabric, because we are going to get a weekend full of frost, and next week intermittent light frost, so we'll see if that helps. But keep going. Look at this little pepper. This little stunted thing, completely protected by all the peppers around it. No damage whatsoever. And even got a little pepper on there. This is a Lacea pepper. I had issues getting it to grow, so it started super late and just now decided to start fruiting. Wild how that works. How microclimates can work. Curious about this banana pepper plant, the one that is about 8 feet tall, all the way up there. She looks a little damaged. But honestly, not that bad. It's just the outer leaves. The inner leaves seem okay. Yeah, so she's got a little bit of damage there, but even super tall parts. Wow, I think the tree protected it. Okay, so I'm just gonna pick the ripe ones off of this that are ready to harvest. And maybe try to cover. She's kind of tall. I might have to sacrifice the top. Man, that fruit looks good. And that was on a branch that was a little bit more damaged. So I think we're okay over here. Yay, microclimates. Didn't mean to do that. Oh well, it's kind of damaged anyway. Oh. Yeah, that part of the plant got hit. Oh yeah, that pepper took a little frost damage. The water and it froze. It's a little bit soft. I'll have to sort through this bowl when I bring it inside. I can't tell. Are there any up there? Things blooming. I had a frost and the thing's blooming. Okay, stay in your tree. Mystery pepper looks fine too. You know, the one that I thought was supposed to be a sweet Italian pepperoncini. Definitely not. And corbaci pepper looks fine. That's shocking. I mean, my tomatoes are mush, but just because of this protected little corner, this protected little area with the tree, the fence, and all the taller plants, my peppers, one of the most cold sensitive plants, are absolutely fine. So I'm gonna cover these tonight. Yeah. Give these more time. Herbs look... Well, basil took a hit a little bit. You know, I'm gonna take some of that basil inside and dry it. Maybe some of the catnip for the kitty. Parsley looks good. Take some of that inside too. I'm gonna give her a wild haircut, but I'm not gonna cut it all the way down to the ground in case it warms back up or stays protected. Maybe there'll be a chance it can regrow. But I do want to get some of this saved and jarred. She smells amazing. Some basil in there and some parsley. Again, this looks absolutely fantastic, and it is a perennial, so I'm not going to go too crazy. I just want to get a little bit stored up since I haven't done that yet. So I've been slacking with my herb drying. Go, some parsley. And I forgot to hit record, but got some catnip going on in here too. I may have underestimated how many harvest containers I needed. Ooh, you can really see how melty these plants are getting. So what happens with the frost, the water inside of them freezes and damages the cell walls. So you just get floppy, melty plants that kind of look like overcooked spinach. Right here, absolutely decimated tomato plant. This will not come back. There are no parts of this plant that are still good. Like, it's all melty. And right there are those pepper plants that are unscathed. Melty, unscathed. Ooh, I think I found more tomatoes in here. I just saw you. Where'd you go? A couple little ones. Well, at least now the poor little cauliflower plants that are under this thing will have a chance. Good job, little friend. Oh boy. Yeah. That one didn't make it. Wait. Further up the plant. Looks okay. What vine is this watermelon attached to? Did this vine take too much damage? Because this one I have been trying to give as long as possible. It's not even that cold. Try to get back. Oh, it's pretty damaged down there. Yeah. I don't think that one's going to survive. So, here goes nothing. This thing I've been waiting on forever. Cajo watermelon. The of course, I don't get any tomatoes or watermelon during the warm months, during peak growing season for both of those, but I harvest them after first frost. I have a sneaking suspicion she's not ripe, but not much I can do about it. I'll just put you right there. That is a translucent bean. That one's definitely gonna thaw out and be just gross. Give it to the chickens. Couple more chicken snacks. Yeah, there wasn't too much left on these pole beans. But they were still giving me a couple here and there, so I was just letting them do their thing. But yeah, those are all gonna be mush here as soon as they thaw out. I know a lot of the tomatoes are gonna be quite mushy later on once they thaw out, especially the smaller ones. But we'll see. We'll see if any of them manage to avoid complete damage. Make some fried green tomatoes. Man, I'm kicking myself. I should have come out yesterday, but it was dark by the time I had time to do so. Since, I mean, I work a full-time job. I don't get off of work until 5, and it's dark by like 5:30, 6 o'clock. So I have other things I have to take care of and other responsibilities, and I didn't have time during the daylight hours to come out and here and harvest. And I kind of run on sunshine, so when the sun goes down, it's time for me to do indoor things. It is what it is. Let me go give these to the chickens. Good morning, ladies. How are you doing? This is probably the coldest morning you have ever experienced in your whole 3 months of life. Hey, girls. You want some of these? Yeah, in case any of those watermelons are not ripe, I just give them to the chickens. that was a watermelon half yesterday. Took them no time whatsoever. And they're right, girls. You love the watermelons. You doing okay? Hi, Nebby girl. Yeah, it's really cold. But you look pretty good. Okay, enjoy. Oh yeah. Yucca melons are toast. This one is going to be tricky to harvest on video. So I'm probably going to put you guys down and just knock all this out because there's a lot of digging involved and it's going to be extra challenging since all the foliage is just melty. But I'll be right back and we'll see what I got from it. Alright, well, I'm already seeing that they don't look right. The fruit took damage. So once I harvest all these, I'm going to let them sit and thaw and see which ones are salvageable. But I don't have high hopes it's going to be a lot of them. I found the mother of all pickle worms. And if you've been following along, you know they're my nemesis. So ladies! Karen, you want it? Who wants it? It's stuck to my hand. Mabel, you want it? Come take this thing from me. Come get it. Come get it. Can't reach you. Thank you. And that's the last of the cucamelon. Sad day. My husband's gonna be upset because that's the only thing out of my garden that he will just snack on fresh without having to prepare. And if I can get my husband to eat vegetables, you better believe I'm gonna grow it. But I harvested all the ones that weren't mushy. That doesn't necessarily mean they didn't get damaged. There were a lot of damaged fruit, and I just can't tell if these are frozen solid or just cold. So I'm gonna let them come to room temperature before I make the final decision of how many of those cucamelons are actually salvageable. But I'm still not done, so. Next step. Okay, I was really hoping, these loofah would dry on the vine more before the frost came. You can harvest them green. Some of them are entirely too small to really get any sponge out of. But harvesting them green on the ones that are at least the right size is a pain in the butt. I don't know. My hands are getting so cold that I can't really tell if these leaves are frost damaged or not. So I can let these dry out inside a little bit. And these don't feel bad. You know what? I'm gonna harvest the ones that are furthest along and leave the rest until later today and see how they fare. But they don't feel frozen. They don't feel soft or like they have any freeze damage in loofah. Once they freeze, it kind of ruins the sponge inside. But like this one's pretty close, so I'm just gonna grab that and maybe one other and go from there. It's strange how undamaged this plant seems because loofah is not at all frost tolerant. And this is in one of the least protected areas of the yard, so I'm gonna grab that one. I'm probably going to leave. Wow, that thing is stuck. I need my scissors. Let's try this again. There we go. Whew. Yeah, those feel pretty good, pretty solid. So I am going to leave the ones that are not ready on here. And on that note, I realized I was just fooling myself into hoping there was more season left for these to actually dry on the vines, but hello, we have a week of hard frosts ahead of us. So I went ahead and harvested every single loofah. They're going to go dry for a while and hopefully be salvageable, because who am I kidding? They're not gonna have time on the vine. Tomorrow was the frost I was preparing for. Tomorrow, or actually tonight into tomorrow morning, is the hard frost they were calling for. It wasn't even supposed to get frost tonight. Wishful thinking, I guess. I'm not ready to give up garden season. I had to go grab another harvest basket, and I don't think this one's gonna be big enough. I'm not done yet. I haven't gone out into the front yard. Luckily there's no large things out there that take up a lot of space, but let's keep piling. And then maybe these will go over there. Okay, I'm not done yet. Moving on. Oh, there may still be hope. Pitiful little potted porch tomato was protected from the frost, and its singular little tomato is still on there, so we're gonna bring that into the garage with the other plants tonight. Shockingly, it looks like the passion fruit actually held on to its fruit and nothing's frozen. I mean, it's a little chilly. It doesn't necessarily like the cold, but I think this is okay. Cool. Did any of these start to split? No. So leave those on. That looks protected. Yay. Raspberries were protected. See what I'm talking about? Microclimates? Things in the front yard seem to be okay. It's just because we've got houses close to each other. And everything is close to the house. Oh, even the elephant ear. One of the most sensitive things to the frost. Really only took a teeny tiny little bit of damage. Impressive. I had planned on bringing my young dragon fruit in tonight. Not realizing we were gonna get a frost, but it looks like it did okay. Which is surprising, because when they're this young, they are much more sensitive versus Mother over here that has seen much colder temperatures is just completely unfazed. Yeah, I think we're good. I don't feel any soft spots. A little bit of yellowing, but that'll perk back up. And here's the final haul of the 2024 summer garden. I think I got lucky. A lot of this fruit has warmed up to room temperature now and did not get mushy and gross. Man, that is a lot of green tomatoes. I have more green tomatoes than I had in November than I had all summer for any tomatoes. Looks like some fried green tomatoes are in my future. I'm I'm going to try to counter ripen as many of these larger ones as I can, but I have a feeling that none of them have any obvious blushing on them, so they probably won't really counter ripen. So if you have any recipes outside of fried green tomatoes that I can do with these green tomatoes, I would love to hear your suggestions. I can't say I've ever had a surplus of green tomatoes at the end of the year to experiment with, so I'd love to hear them. Farewell to the 2024 summer garden. I mean, a few little peppers here and there, but I doubt they'll survive the week with the weather that we've got coming in. We've got it in the 20s. So thanks for joining me. I'll be keeping an eye out for your suggestions. How did your garden do this year? Are you ready to say goodnight to it for the winter, or kind of in denial like I am? But anyway, I'll catch you next time. Bye. Nero, do you smell the catnip? Yeah, don't worry. I saved some just for you. Yeah, it's right over here.